ancestors looked up, they would have seen a night sky very different to what we see from our urban streets. Before the glare from city lights and before the haze from the burning of fossil fuels ruined things, the night sky would have been absolutely spectacular. Our ancestors would have looked up in awe and amazement and wondered what those points of light were. Today, we know exactly what stars are. Science tells us that stars are gigantic, colossal spheres of hydrogen and helium, trillions of kilometers away, burning with powerful nuclear fusion reactions taking place at their core. I'd like to take you on a journey to those stars. But it's a dangerous journey because space is cold and it's inhospitable and it's silent too. There is no sound in space, for as we all know, sound waves do not travel in a vacuum. On 5th September 1977, the Voyager 1 space probe was launched from Earth on its mission to collect data and send back images from the outer planets. It sailed past the asteroid belt, went beyond the orbit of Mars, used the gravity of Jupiter to slingshot itself towards Saturn. After traveling for 3 years, it made its closest approach to Saturn and sent back spectacular images of the ring planet and its moons. After that, its space mission came to an end, and it was all set to drift off into deep space. However, it still had one more remarkable feat to accomplish. It was Carl Sagan, that towering figure among astronomers, who had the brilliant idea of asking mission control commanders at NASA to turn the cameras of Voyager around and take a picture of Earth from 6 billion kilometers away in deep space. Voyager took that image and sent it back to us across the vacuum of empty space. When we processed and developed the image, we discovered it had 640,000 pixels of mostly nothing, just the blackness and emptiness of space. Earth was just half a pixel. That image is now famously known as the pale blue dot. Carl Sagan is at his most poetic when he talks about the pale blue dot. He reminds us that from a cosmic perspective, Earth is just a mote of dust. 35 years after its launch, Voyager is still traveling. It is now the farthest and fastest man-made object. It is currently 16 billion kilometers away and traveling at 20 kilometers per second. That's 60 times the speed of sound. Traveling at that speed, you'd reach Abu Dhabi in 5 seconds. You'd reach London in under 5 minutes. So I ask you, ladies and gentlemen, if we were to be traveling on Voyager, how long would it take us to reach our next-door neighboring star, Proxima Centauri? It wouldn't take us 100 years or 200 years. It would take us over 80,000 years to reach our next-door star. So you're probably wondering, well, if it takes that long to reach our next-door star, how many stars are there in the Milky Way galaxy? Well, before you answer millions and billions, let's get a deeper understanding of how much 1 billion is. If you were to count the seconds from the moment you were born and did nothing but count the seconds, you didn't eat or sleep, you just counted seconds, how long before you reached 1 billion? The fact is, you would reach your 30th birthday and still not have reached 1 billion seconds. In other words, 1 billion seconds ago, it was 1982. So to answer the question, how many stars in our Milky Way galaxy? There are over 300 billion stars in our galaxy alone. So let's forget about the speed of Voyager and look at the speed of light. 300,000 kilometers per second, that's the absolute speed limit of the universe. Nothing travels faster than light. Now, if we were to travel at this speed, how long before we reached our next-door neighboring galaxy, Andromeda? Traveling at the speed of light, it would take us 2 million years to reach our next-door galaxy. And there's nothing to see in between, just the blackness and emptiness of intergalactic space. 2 million years of blackness before you reached the next galaxy. So, you're probably wondering, how many galaxies are there in the observable universe? Based on images sent back by the Hubble Space Telescope, and based on some incredible astronomical calculations, scientists estimate that there are over 100 billion galaxies in the observable universe, each containing on average about 100 billion stars. So how big is that number? The fact is, there are more stars than there are grains of sand in all the deserts and beaches of our planet. I'll pause while the significance of that fact sinks in. And it is a fact, make no mistake about it. So, when I say let's bring in the cosmic perspective into the classroom, what I mean is let's start educating our children and our students about our place in the universe. To think that something interesting is happening only around our sun, that one grain of sand, is to be guilty of a great hubris. And our species has been guilty of a great hubris many times in the past. We like to think that we are the center of all things. But the fact is, the universe is indifferent to our existence. The universe is vast and it's mysterious. Over 90% of the matter and energy of the universe is classified as dark matter and dark energy. We have no clue what it is. All the galaxies and planets and stars that we see constitute just 10% of known matter. So, in the face of all the wonderful discoveries that we've made about the universe, and in the face of all the wonderful discoveries we're about to make about the universe, what should schools and institutions of learning do? How would it help students to take a cosmic perspective? Well, I believe taking a cosmic perspective would allow students to appreciate that they are part of something far greater and far grander than their race or nationality, their ethnicity, or their tribe. It would allow them to appreciate how glorious it is to simply be alive and conscious in this vast and inhospitable universe. All the trials and tribulations of teenage existence would seem a little less significant. It wouldn't matter so much if your favorite football team lost a game. It wouldn't matter so much if your parents didn't buy you the latest iPad. It wouldn't matter so much if you scored a D grade in your English paper. It would allow students to be more pragmatic about their failures and allow them to celebrate their successes even more. Taking a cosmic perspective would mean schools would nurture and foster a sense of fulfillment in their pupils. Schools would realize that the happiness of the individual pupil is far, far, far more important than grades and standardized tests. It is soul-destroying and spirit-sapping to see how much time, energy, and effort schools and teachers expend on preparing students for tests. We have got to change our priorities. Taking a cosmic perspective would mean schools would foster an environment and promote the values of the 18th century age of enlightenment and reason. This was a glorious age that saw some brilliant philosophers like Voltaire and Spinoza, great scientists like Isaac Newton, great statesmen like Benjamin Franklin and Thomas Jefferson. It was an age that valued free thought and critical inquiry. It was a time when science was viewed as not just a body of information, but rather as a way of understanding the world and as a means of correcting errors in our knowledge. Taking a cosmic perspective would mean schools would encourage students to think for themselves. It would mean rejecting authority, dogma, superstition, and tradition as a valid basis for holding opinions, and instead encourage them to value evidence-based reasoning. I would like to share with you my 3 core values as an educator: creativity, kindness, curiosity. Those of us who will be around on this planet for 80 years are the lucky ones. The universe has been around for 13.7 billion years and will continue to exist for eons upon eons. In such a scheme of things, it is imperative that schools encourage students to contribute to the sum total of the human creative endeavor. We need to encourage our students to create new things, new ideas, new works of art, new paintings, new software, also new philosophies and new ways of thinking. My second core value is promoting kindness. Think back to that image of the pale blue dot. Think of all the horrors and violence and endless cruelties that have taken place on that little blue pixel. Schools need to actively promote kindness. We need to raise the profile of kindness, and we need to make it fun and exciting to be kind. I'd like to tell you about a secret organization right here at the Winchester School. They call themselves Kindness Anonymous. They aim to bring a smile to people's face through anonymous and random acts of kindness. They aim to use their creativity to be kind. So what that means is they make origami animals for people, they bake cupcakes for their teachers, they leave kind notes for their friends, and they leave free art around with a note saying, if you like it, take it. And they do it all anonymously. They do it for the sake of being kind and not for reward, praise, or recognition. My final core value is promoting or fostering curiosity. There is a lot of future knowledge awaiting us. We need to refine our students' research skills. We need to help them distinguish between propaganda, information, misinformation, and disinformation. We need to arouse their curiosity about their place in the world and about their place in the universe. And one of the best ways to do it, I've found, is to start an astronomy club. When I started the Winchester School Astronomy Club, it was with 2 students, Shafna Qasim and Raya Bitshari. Today, it's safe to say it's one of the most popular clubs at school. We have exciting weekly workshop-style meetings where we talk about the mysteries and wonders of the cosmos. We go out on trips to planetariums, observe eclipses and planetary transitions, and most exciting of all are the overnight stargazing trips. In fact, on this very day, 1 year ago, we were out in the desert observing the Leonid meteor shower. It was an absolutely spectacular sight. We took with us our Celestron Cassegrain-Schmidt telescope, which is a marvelous piece of technology. I must tell you about it. When you switch it on, it uplinks with satellites in space. It knows exactly where it is. And then you just type in the name of your stellar object, and it moves on its own and finds it. We saw Jupiter and 5 of its moons. We then slew the telescope to our own moon, and we saw craters, and craters within craters. It was a sublime and awe-inspiring experience. Carl Sagan says, astronomy is a humbling and character-building experience. We need to share this experience with our students. I'd like to end on an optimistic note. We heard some brilliant speakers this morning. The key feature of all those talks among the youth was their sense of optimism. We need to promote, encourage the sense of optimism. IntelligentOptimism.com is an initiative we've started right here at the Winchester School. We aim to be optimistic, but in an informed, rational, and intelligent manner. It's run by a group of students who call themselves the 6th Reformers. They're a group of 16 to 18-year-olds who aim to make school fun and exciting. They lead the school's astronomy club, science club, debate club, film club, the school radio, podcast banks, and various other initiatives that make the Winchester School one of the most exciting schools to be in. As teachers, we wear many hats and have many roles. We are guides, guardians, counselors, and sometimes even the police. I'd like us to start seeing ourselves as entertainers as well. And when we see ourselves as entertainers, then the classroom becomes our stage. The students become our audience, and the lesson becomes a show. And if we want our audience to come back for the next show and the next and the next, then we've got to keep the show exciting. We've got to make learning exciting. But it's no longer enough to make learning exciting. We've got to make learning addictive. And so, ladies and gentlemen, my dear students, young adults in the room, our future is in the stars. The universe beckons. Unimaginably fascinating things are just waiting to be discovered. Let's all take a cosmic perspective. Thank you.